Heavy rain is indeed headed our way. When it gets here, well, that's not for me to answer. That's for the pros that we have in the building, and that pro today is meteorologist Clay Smith. Clay.
Yeah, we got some raindrops out there in Dalton this morning. We're going to continue to track out some downpours here and there, but the big stuff coming a little bit later on. Again, we're looking at the remnants of Helene coming in as we get into this evening, especially and through Friday morning. Landfalling system going to be a little bit later on this evening. So we are going to be in storm alert weather mode through Friday afternoon at least. Flash flooding and strong winds going to be our primary concern. Going to likely have some power outages showing up by the time we wake up on Friday morning. So make sure you have a plan in place, have plenty of water, charge up those devices just in case we start to see those power outages increase. And we likely will, because we are going to have some strong winds as Helene moves inland. Now, for now, we're just dealing with a couple of showers here locally. Heavier rain out into the Carolinas, but we're going to have more steady rain coming up. We've had a little bit of light rain across Polk County, western North Carolina, and North Georgia this morning. So there could be some wet roadways, and we do have flood watches in effect until 2 p.m. on Friday. This is for our entire coverage area. So at any point we could have excessive rainfall and those low-lying areas start to swell. So if you do run into a flooded roadway or anything like that over the next 24 to 36 hours, make sure you find an alternative route and stay safe. As for your temperatures, generally in the 60s, we'll be in the lower 70s later on today with all of this tropical moisture. Winds are light for now, but we'll really start to have those winds ramping up as we get into tonight and Friday morning. And here's a look at Helene. 85-mile-per-hour sustained winds starting to become a lot more organized. Look at that eye wall trying to form there down several hundred miles to the south of the Florida Panhandle. Going to continue to surge north. It's going to start to accelerate, rapidly intensify, and by the time it makes landfall between Port St. Joe and Steinhatchee, Florida, we're likely looking at a Category 4 hurricane with upwards of 130 to 135 mile-per-hour winds. This is going to be a very impactful storm for the Big Bend region of Florida into the Florida Peninsula and really across much of the southeast. We have tropical storm warnings as far north as western North Carolina. These blue shades, tropical storm warnings, red shade, hurricane warnings. So we have hurricane warnings all the way up to Macon, Georgia. So again, this is going to be moving so fast, it's not going to have much time to weaken across South Georgia. So it's still going to be a hurricane pretty far inland. So again, going to be a large wind field with this system, going to be large in area, and it is going to be very impactful. So there's those hurricane warnings from really just north of Tampa all the way to Port St. Joe and near Apalachicola. And it is going to be a very busy day. There could be life-threatening storm surge across portions of the Big Bend of Florida, up to 20 feet. So hopefully all of those folks heeded the warnings and evacuated, especially right along the coast, because 20 feet of water coming in is a whole lot, and 5 to 8 feet of storm surge can be possible in Tampa. Now here's a look at your futurecast. Okay, so the rain really going to start to pick up later this morning into the afternoon. Going to become pretty steady after lunchtime, and once the rain starts, it's really not going to stop for the rest of the day. We're going to have heavy rain, really going to pick up in intensity tonight as that center of circulation moves inland and gets closer to us. And then by the time we wake up Friday morning, it is going to be downright windy here across the Tennessee Valley, but it does look like the rain moves to the north by the afternoon. Now for us, we're not going to be looking at a tornado threat. Typically these systems, you have that tornado threat showing up on the east side of the storm. So that's not something we have to worry about, mainly into the Carolinas, Florida Peninsula, and back across portions of northeast Georgia. But here's what we're expecting here locally. 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Still could have upwards of 10 inches in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Going to be some localized flooding and wind gusts of 40 to 45 miles per hour with gusts exceeding 60 potentially, especially in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We do have those tropical storm warnings in effect for northwest Georgia, western North Carolina until further notice. And here's a look at some of those future wind gusts. Really going to start to pick up later this evening into the overnight hours. So after midnight until about 9 a.m. tomorrow, that's when the winds are going to be at the strongest, especially as we're waking up tomorrow. Gusts upwards, again, 50, maybe 60 miles per hour as the center of circulation moves forward, and that's when we can start to have some of those power outages showing up. So just something to kind of be mindful of. Tropical storm wind probabilities are really starting to increase, and as for rain, still expecting about 4 to 6 inches, a heavy swath across much of the southeast. So again, this is going to be an impactful storm for us, especially later tonight into Friday morning. So make sure you are staying weather aware. Download that Local 3 weather app. because by this weekend we will start to clear out. But again, Paul, it's kind of abnormal to have tropical storm warnings this far to the north. So just take it seriously and stay safe over the next couple of days.
All right, trust our team. They're on it. We've got the Local 3 News apps, weather app as well.
Download those.
Do it. All right, thank you, Clay.